What did Bryant mean with his comments about Coach Harbaugh? If Lamar Jackson was drafted in 2008, how many Super Bowls could this Ravens team have won? With the playoffs looming, should there be any concern for Ravens fans with the receivers' lack of playoff experience? These and many, many more questions on this episode of NFL Questions from subscribers.
You know just what I mean. You see my boy, he like gotta made it. Boy, he's a fan and he like the Ravens. And you know just what I mean.
YouTube team, keep it clean. What's going on? It's Raven here with another video and another episode of NFL Questions from subscribers. This is a series where you can ask me any NFL question you want to based off of any NFL team, and we answer it in a video just like this. If you want to be part of NFL Questions from subscribers, because a lot of people seem to forget what this series is. It's NFL Questions from subscribers. If you want to be a part of NFL Questions from subscribers, then just send me an email at teamkeepitclean@gmail.com, and we'll answer your question in a video just like this. I'm recording this episode on November 30th. So it is after the Rams game. This is the first episode recorded after the Rams game and before the 49ers game, which is tomorrow from the time I'm recording this video. So there's no confusion. Let's get into it. Real quick, before we get into this episode, my first question is going to come from my boy Justin Parnell. But before we get into this episode, I got to let y'all know how much I love y'all and I appreciate y'all. Okay, so me and my wife and Carter, we don't celebrate Thanksgiving. We're thankful year round. I don't think it should take a special day, and I'm not knocking anybody who does, and don't take it as disrespect because it's not. But I think we're thankful year round. We're thankful year round. You can get with family at any time. In my opinion, you can get with family anytime throughout the year. It doesn't have to take a special occasion to get with family, to have dinner together. Y'all know me, man. If y'all ever see my Instagram, y'all know Snacks for Blacks. Y'all know, and we talk about food all the time on here. So we always talk about food on here. We always talk about family on here. And we always talk about how grateful we are on here. And that's year round. But at my wife's job, and I'm letting y'all know how much I love y'all. At my wife's job, they gave her a free turkey because they gave everybody their free turkeys. So like, okay, cool. So she is in the process of brining that turkey, and I didn't even know brining was a thing. Because when she first said brine, I was like, what is that? So I guess that's when you soak it in whatever. So anyway, she got this cooler from Publix to soak the turkey in. So it can have good flavor and all that, because a lot of turkeys be dry. A lot of turkeys are super dry, and it's like, what's the point? But she put the cooler in the kitchen and put the turkey in the cooler and put a bunch of ice in there and all these different vegetables and stuff to get it brining or whatever. And I woke up this morning and I was like, man, I haven't recorded a question from subscribers in a long time. Let me go ahead and do that. I threw on my hoodie, and it's a little cold too because she likes sleeping with the fan on. But anyway, I threw on my hoodie, came through. And I was like, let me do this. But then I went to the kitchen real quick and I saw, oh man, it's stuff on the floor. It's all this brining juice, this turkey juice on the floor. And I was like, oh man. And y'all know I'm petty. Cause I be petty with some of y'all in the comment section. Cause some of y'all try to be petty. Anyway, I recorded the all the juice, all the turkey juice that was on the floor, and then I sent it to her, and then I cleaned it up. But I don't have any socks on. I certainly stepped in some turkey juice this morning. But I'm sitting here, turkey juice feet, recording this episode of NFL Question from subscribers for you guys. Just to let you know how much I appreciate y'all. I will be taking a shower after this, but I feel like this is really not even a Ravens bird, but a turkey bird hoodie that I got on. I just feel like it smells like turkey juice. But this will be going in the wash machine, and my feet will be going in the washroom. So anyway, I just had to let y'all know that before we get into this first question. I love y'all and I appreciate y'all. And again, like I always say, man, thank you for supporting. Thank y'all for rocking with us. Just thank y'all for being y'all. Anyway, first question. Sorry, Justin, because I know this. He's like, man, why is he got to do this on my question? Anyway. First question came from my boy Justin Parnell. He said, I love all the vids. You are natural, although we are on a nice winning streak and seem very unbeatable. Oh, thank you. Thank you for even watching them, man. Appreciate it. He said, even though we are on a nice winning streak and seem very unbeatable for the time being, I do have some concerns about our young wide receivers with no playoff experience. The only receivers that have playoff experience is Willie Snead and Seth Roberts from when he was in the Raiders in 2016. Do you see this being an issue further down the road, or do you think everything will continue to run smoothly as it is now? I don't think it's an issue because the receivers don't hardly even get the ball. No, I'm playing though. But to me, I don't think it's a big issue. I don't think it's a big issue. But yeah, and that is the reason, because the receivers, Ravens, and I know they aren't technically right now, but to me it almost feels like playoff football now, because right now the Ravens are fighting for that number one spot. They're fighting for home field advantage throughout the entire playoffs, not for a game, not for 2 games, but throughout the entire playoffs. And of course, to make it through the entire playoffs, you got to win every playoff game, which would be, I think 2 of them before you get to the Super Bowl. But they are fighting for that. So they are essentially in playoff mode now, and the receivers have been doing just fine. But no, seriously though, back to my receivers comment, even though it was a joke, there's a little truth in that joke too. Because the receiver, it ain't like they are heavily involved in the game. But, like we saw last time against the Rams, since this video is being recorded after the Rams game and before the 49ers game. But anyway, you saw them in that Rams game get heavily involved. The Titans didn't catch any touchdowns. Lamar threw 5 touchdowns and the Titans didn't catch one of them. That's crazy. It's crazy. But it's crazy in a good way, because it shows that, okay, no tight ends. Well, not necessarily no tight ends getting involved, but no tight ends gonna catch touchdown passes. You would think, oh man, well, I guess Lamar ain't have such a good game. But hey, he still showed out. So no, I don't think it's an issue at all. I think it'll be just fine. Next question came from my boy Marquise Wilson. He said, Ingraven, I've been watching your channel since last year. Been hooked ever since. I appreciate that, man. So that makes you a different kind of crazy. If you hooked on this channel, this channel is strictly for crazy people. Anyway, appreciate it, man. He said, keep up the good work. My question is, if Lamar Jackson was drafted in 2008 instead of Joe Flacco, oh my gosh. If Lamar Jackson was drafted in 2008 instead of Joe Flacco, how many Super Bowls do you think we would have had? Take in consideration the great defenses we had with Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, T. Sizzle, Nada, etc. Plus Anquan Bolden, Ray Rice, and other pieces on offense. Me personally, I feel like we would have had 3 championships just because of Lamar's demeanor, leadership, and the way he could take over the game. Something that in Joe Flacco's career has always been a question, especially in those first 3 to 4 years. Wow. That's a really good question, and it just reminds me, because I know a lot of people got super sensitive over it yesterday, and it reminds me of the question that we asked yesterday about is Lamar Jackson already a better passer than Joe Flacco, and had a lot of differing opinions on that, and I appreciate the people that shared their opinion respectfully, and that was really everybody. Yeah, that was pretty much everybody. Yeah. It was. The only thing that some people just got people were more upset. Like usually I'm so used to with a lot of Ravens fans. Them, whenever it comes to Joe Flacco, Lamar Jackson, oh gosh, you can't even talk about anyone. Don't compare the two. And there were a few people like that. You can't compare the two because Joe Flacco has a Super Bowl and Lamar Jackson doesn't. But it's like, yes, you can compare the two because they are two Ravens quarterbacks. Any Ravens quarterback is able to be compared with another one. Why? Because they play the same position for the same team. Anyway, that is a really good question. How many Super Bowls will we have won? Or could we have won with Lamar Jackson from having him from 2008? Wow. If we had this Lamar Jackson, this offense, along with that defense, yeah, man. Along with those defenses, excuse me. Wow. Yeah, maybe like 3, maybe even 4. They could have been a dynasty, man. They could have been they could have really been a dynasty. Like straight up, they could have been a dynasty. This thing could have been very scary, like very scary. And then to have like with Lamar Jackson right now, he's showing like while the receivers that the Ravens have are not bad, they are not great. But if he had those guys now with Joe Flacco and Torrey Smith, I will say those two definitely. I feel like those two made each other, man. Those two made each other big time. Because ever since Torrey Smith left Baltimore, it was never the same. It was never the same for him. Never. And ever since Torrey Smith left Baltimore, it was never the same for Flacco either. That deep ball, like him and Torrey Smith with a deep ball, oh my gosh. That was one of the best deep balls in the league. One, because it was one of the best connections in the league, but two, it drew a lot of pass interferences too. Like a lot. like field position changed so much because of that. But yeah, I'll say like 3, maybe even 4. Like I said, it could have really been a dynasty, man. This guy Lamar Jackson has been it's just crazy the effect that he's had on his team. So early too. But yeah, I think it could have been 3 to 4. Next question came from my boy Kevin Newsom. He said, do you think the Ravens should pursue Antonio Brown if he gets reinstated by the NFL? With Antonio Brown and his cousin Hollywood Brown, the Ravens offense being led by Lamar would be out of this world. And I do agree that Antonio Brown would make this team on the field. He could make them even better. And I used to be for this idea. Well, not even necessarily for it, but I used to not mind it. But now things have changed, and I would say no. Not that Antonio Brown couldn't play, because he can. Not that Antonio Brown would make this team on the field. Not that he wouldn't make this team on the field even better, because he can. Not that he wouldn't catch everything thrown his way, because he can. But this team, they are very special. And with this team, they are definitely team players. We do not have a number 1 wide receiver on this team. And initially when I think of that, I think, man, like we really ain't got no number 1 wide receiver on this team. But I think that has actually helped the team in the long run with the lack of selfishness. Because not being a number 1 wide receiver on this team, it makes them selfless. Because it makes them like realize like, oh, we don't have like that guy at wide receiver. And I know some people may like they throw it to Hollywood Brown by default, but he's not really he's not a number 1 wide receiver like that right now, man. He's not. He may be Lamar's favorite wide receiver, but he's not a true number 1 wide receiver. So with us not having that, like if Antonio Brown came, he would automatically be the best receiver on this team, like that. And he would essentially be worked into being the number 1 guy because it's Antonio Brown. But with us not having that right now, I think that definitely the team chemistry is great. It's great. And while I still do believe, I really do believe that, and I know people have said it about the Patriots. Some people said it about I don't think anybody said it about the Raiders, but they certainly said it about the Patriots. But I really do believe that this team could get Antonio Brown any issues that he had. I think they could actually get it under control. I really don't think that any issues that he had would be affected. That's me. I know a lot of y'all disagree, which is fine, but I don't think it would be an issue. But at the same time, yeah, it ain't gonna happen. But no, I'm actually fine with the receivers that we got right now for this year. Like if it was next year, okay, maybe a different story, because Chris Moore's gonna be gone, even though it seems like he's gone already, because he don't ever play on offense anymore. Seth Roberts, he's gonna be gone, and that's it. Like we start like Willie Snead keeps lasting, man. And I mean it ain't set in stone that he's gonna last, but I think he'll be here next year. But Willie Snead keeps lasting. Last year he lasted out of all the receivers that we got rid of. This year, or after this year, he's gonna last with all the receivers that we get rid of. Well, most likely. But yeah, I would say no to Antonio Brown. Next question came from my boy Reginald. He said, "Not sure how I didn't know this, but someone in one of the groups I'm in, he talking about on Facebook. I wonder if it's the one I got kicked out of. Anyway, he says someone in one of the groups I'm in mentioned how we almost picked up. Oh gosh, Yes, there was so much talk about this on Thursday after that game. Let me finish because I read ahead and I didn't even tell y'all. He says someone in one of the groups I'm in mentioned how we almost picked up Jason Garrett before John Harbaugh. So I was wanting to know, how would you think our years from when we've had Harbaugh would go if we had Garrett instead? Now y'all know, I always say it. I will get on Harbaugh for any garbage that he does. I also give him credit for anything he does well, but I will get on him. Now, for as much as I have gotten on Harbaugh, it is a tough love type of thing. Because I appreciate everything that Harbaugh has been as a head coach. And I think recently, he's changed. I think he's definitely changed. And that's actually going to lead us into our next question. From my guy Marcus Holmes. I guess we're going to make this sort of a two-part question since he did mention Jason Garrett, excuse me. I hope I didn't say Myles Garrett when I was saying his name earlier. But I just do not think that we would have had nearly the amount of success. One thing I absolutely I did not like from Jason Garrett, and I know it was a joke. It's a meme, the whole clapping thing. And I thought before, like, because I heard about, I see him on the sidelines all the time, but I've heard people, like, say that this dude, like, really claps for everything in every situation. And on Thursday, I was almost disgusted because I'm like, if I was a fan of that team, I would be so heated. Like, so heated. This guy, it was a 4th down for the Cowboys, and if they don't get this, it's game over. They were down by multiple scores. I think it was in the 4th quarter. It was a 4th down for the Dallas Cowboys. They had to convert. If they didn't convert, then it's officially game. Like, it's pretty much almost already game over. But if they don't get this, it's really game over. And they didn't get it. And this dude was really on the sidelines clapping. And I was just like, wow. That is insane. That's crazy. Like, what are you doing? Not that you're going to be yelling at the player. Well, they did that in the locker room, but not that you're going to be yelling at the players. But you're clapping? Like, I understand supporting your players. Well, some people, they need some tough love sometimes too, man. But I just, that showed that, to me, maybe not to everybody, but that stuff like that shows me that you're okay with failure. Like Harbaugh, if Ravens go for it on the 4th down and the game is on the line, y'all know how Harbaugh is going to be. He's going to be bent over, his hands are going to be on his knees, and he's going to go. Because we've seen it a lot of times from those games where we lost, and they've been closed. But I could not get with that, man. Because to me, it just made it look like he's okay with losing. It made it look like, oh, y'all lost. Okay, it's all good. But again, like I said, that leads me to my guy Marcus Holmes' question. He said that he said, can you speak on what Bryant said about Lamar Jackson and John Harbaugh and Jason Garrett? And if for those of you that because a lot of y'all may have missed it. I know some of y'all are not on Twitter. Even if some of y'all are on Twitter, a lot of y'all still may have missed it. So let's read it. He says, Coach Garrett needs to have a sit down with John Harbaugh and learn how to relate better with his black players. It's hard to win whenever you have a divided organization. And then he said right after that, and I'm glad he said this because just so nobody would twist his words, anything like that. But he said, I 100% don't believe that the coach is racist. He can't relate. So, what he was saying, that he said, Coach, just to break it, because I had to sort of clean it up a little bit. Not clean it up, but because he ain't curse anything. But he said, Coach Garrett need to have a sit down with John Harbaugh and learn how to relate better with his black players. It's hard to win whenever you got a divided organization. I 100 don't believe coach is racist. He can't relate. So I ain't had to clean it up too much, but anyway. My guy Marcus, he wanted us to talk about what we thought about that. So shout out to my guy Reginald, and shout out to my guy Marcus, and sorry for fusing you guys' questions together, but my guy Reginald question reminded me of my guy Marcus question, and it all worked out. But anyway, especially since we're talking about Jason Garrett. So Coach Garrett needs to have a sit down with John Harbaugh and learn how to relate better with his black players. And again, a big part of this is I 100% don't believe that Coach is racist. So again, he is not saying that Jason Garrett is racist. It does not make you racist if you just can't relate to somebody. But I think that's a big thing. Whenever you have a relationship with two people, or a relationship between two people, I think something that in order for you to even have a continuous relationship between two people, you have to find things that you relate on. You got to find things that you can relate on. Like, and sometimes it's a process. Sometimes y'all might not relate on these things automatically. Sometimes it just takes time. And just to use me and my wife for example, she knew when we were first dating. She knew I love football, loved it, and I love the Ravens. Her family had watched football. She not so much, but she, as the great girlfriend that she was at the time, she began to take an interest in football. Why? Because it allowed us to relate. She knew it was something that I loved, so she was like, let me actually learn about this thing too. And it's been the same way with me, with her. She loves, she loves cooking. I love to eat. That's easy. But okay, you know, like and it can be simple stuff too. Like all those Marvel movies. I don't care about those. They're good movies. I ain't care about them. I ain't get nothing about them. I know a lot of people, Endgame's coming out. Okay, cool. Infinity War is coming out. Okay, cool. Whatever. And that's something that I didn't care about. But she did. She likes them. She's not no huge Marvel cosplay girl or anything like that. But she enjoys them. And sometimes she could binge watch them. And so I would watch some of those with her. And then I started liking them too. Now, you ain't gonna find me around here in no Iron Man costume. You'll find Carter in an Incredible Hulk one, though. And a Spider-Man, because he loves both of those. He loves Incredible Hulk and Spider-Man. Jeez, that dude loves them. But my point is that there was something that we related on, and that was that. That was that. And that little stuff. It's like little stuff like that just helped our relationship over time. And it's little thing, and it's a bunch of other stuff too. But back to John Harbaugh, and like say for instance Lamar Jackson. Well, I mean, of course you're gonna make yourself relate to anybody that saved your job, but no, with John Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson, like last year, and we talked about it last year too, with how John Harbaugh, just his whole vibe changed, man. You could tell too. A lot about him just changed from last year. And one of those things, and it's something that you never saw Harbaugh doing. Never, ever. This dude was on the field dancing to Kodak Black. On the field, dancing. It was cringy, but again, I'm sure Lamar and Gus Edwards, I'm sure they really appreciated that. Because they know that Harbaugh, you could tell Harbaugh was not in his comfort zone, but they knew Harbaugh was not in his comfort zone, and he stepped out of his comfort zone in order to step into their comfort zone. So that shows that somebody really, really does want to relate to you. They want to relate to you. And that shows that they're taking that extra effort in order to relate to you and make you happy. And show that, hey, this may not be me, but I'm willing to step out, put myself out here. And he put himself out there because it was all over social media and all that. But I'm willing to put myself out there just to relate to you, just so we can get even closer. And to let you know that I really appreciate you. So I think that's what Dez Bryant was saying. And not that Jason Garrett needs to be out there dancing with Ezekiel Elliott. Jason Garrett needs to have his shirt halfway up to be cropped out and show his belly. No, I don't think he needs to do that. I don't think Jason Garrett needs to do the Dak Prescott thing. But he could. I mean, It ain't too late because they can still even win a division. It's bad over in the NFC East. They can still win a division. But anyway, with that being said, I think he's just trying to say that Jason Garrett should do more things like that. He should find more ways to try to relate to these guys. He should find more ways to really try to show his team like, hey, okay, that's what you like. Let me hear that. Oh, that's what you're eating? Let me try that. Oh, this way y'all about to go tonight? Okay, let me ride with y'all. Just something. But I think Dez Bryant is just, I think he's seeing that from experience, obviously, because we know that he's definitely not a fan of Jason Garrett. But I think Dez Bryant is speaking of just that part right there. That with John, like how John Harbaugh has put himself out there and John Harbaugh's even the other day, a lot of y'all talked about how he's wearing a Lamar Jackson the hoodie, even something like that. It does not take some crazy, just wild effort on the coach's part to relate to his players. It doesn't. It can be the smallest thing, and somebody could appreciate it and be like, wow, okay, I like that. And I think that's what Dez Bryant is saying that Jason Garrett should do, because it just makes such a big difference. And even speaking from the corporate perspective in the workforce, if you have a manager that's just managing and doesn't connect to the employees, then yeah, you may get some decent work from them. But I guarantee you, if you actually relate to them, if you talk to them, if you engage with them, if you can actually show them like, hey, I'm not just a manager, I'm a human too. I'm a real person. I got problems too. I got stuff I got to deal with, and I appreciate the stuff that y'all have to deal with too. And just the manager letting the employees know like, hey, I may be a manager, but we all people. We are all people. And if it's a manager that's actually relating to the employees, talking to the employees, engaging with the employees, maybe going out to dinner, going out to lunch with the employees, with the people that they are over on the corporate ladder, employees appreciate that. I've been an employee and I've had managers that have not related at all. It's like, man, like, they just don't get it. Then I've had managers where they definitely relate. Like, okay, all right, man. It's just a difference. And when you can relate to somebody, it makes them that much more approachable. And that can make your relationship that much better. So I think that's what Dez Bryant was talking about with Jason Garrett with his players versus John Harbaugh with his players. So that was that. Next, it was not even a question. It was a comment from my guy Cameron Fisher. That's my guy, man. He always comes to the Dolphins games down here in Miami since he's down here, man. Anyway, he said in Graven, remember when Clay Matthews, and he said this right after the Rams game. He said, remember when Clay Matthews didn't want to sign with the Ravens because he wanted to win now? Despite us offering more money? Yikes, Clay. Yikes. Them Rams ain't it. Next question came from Big Chung. He said, with Lamar being so humble, a team player, and wanting to be the next Tom Brady, with all the success he's had, do you see him taking a team-friendly deal when his rookie deal is up? That's part of why Brady has had so much success, because he never broke the bank. I really think he will, because he hates losing and he cares about the team's success so much. I also think that it will lead to multiple Super Bowls and make him a first ballot Hall of Famer one day. Who knows? Maybe he'll even have a better resume than Tom when it's all said and done. Team, keep it clean. Appreciate that. That is such a good question, man. That is a really good question. Wow. That's tough. I don't know, man. I don't know, because if he did take, I know this ain't NBA, but if he did take a max deal, I certainly wouldn't blame him, because these dudes, this is a business, man. This is a business. Get your money. It's a business. NFL stands for not for long, even though somebody recently they said NFL stands for now for Lamar. I like that one though. I forgot who said it. But I do know they who said it? I forgot. I think they sent it to me on Instagram though. But anyway, no, I think it was Facebook. Anyway, could Lamar take a team friendly deal? I right now I could see him doing that. It is still super early though. We still got like 2 more years for that. Oh man, I don't know, man. I don't know, cause whatever he did, you couldn't be mad at him. Cause again, like I said, it's a business. From how he is now, I could see that, and not that I see him changing, but you want to get paid. You want to get paid for your work, man. I think he right the way that he seems to be. I think he could, to where it is. It may not be to be the highest paid quarterback in the league at that time. But yeah, I could see him doing that. I could see him doing that. Now he would still definitely be getting his money. He'd still be getting paid good now. But when I think about it now, I could definitely see him doing that. Will he? We'll see. Can you be mad at him if he doesn't? No. Can't be mad at any player who does not take a hometown discount, so to speak, when it's contract time. But yeah, the way that he is, because again, the ultimate goal is just winning. That's all he talks about, winning. Now, of course, again, you want to get paid for your work. But yeah, right now, yeah, it feels based off of how he is right now. I could definitely see that happening, man. Question came from Crystal. She said, it makes me feel a little worried about what Earl Thomas said about the Super Bowl comments. I know Lamar said it at his draft, but I know we have a chance at it, but I think it is a little early to talk about it. No, it's not too early to talk about it. I mean, it's been being talked about amongst all the media now. And Ravens, they really feel like they can do this. And with Earl Thomas, again, while it wasn't the most humble way, it was a confident way. There was a little cockiness in there too. But there's a lot of confidence in there. He knows that this team has what it takes. He's been on 2 teams that have what it takes. So Earl Thomas knows. He knows. Now a good point. I was listening to was it Shannon Sharp that said it? I think it was Shannon Sharp that said it. Yeah, it was, I believe. Because it was him, Skip Bayless, Max Kellerman, and Molly Rose. I'm gonna just call her Molly Rose because I believe she married to Jalen Rose. But they were on the panel and they were talking about this. I was actually just listening to it this morning, by the way. And again, today is November 30th. I gotta say that because I know a lot of people. You just caught up, but anyway, they were talking about Earl Thomas's comments. Shannon Shaw made a really good point. He said, "Well, with Earl Thomas' comments, that's cool. If he said, I would like those comments better if this was boxing or if it was tennis, if it was a one-man sport and it was just you. But he said, since you got all these other guys you got to rely on, I don't like them." I'm like, oh, that's a good point. But then Max Kellerman made a good point too. He's like, yeah, that's true, whatever. But this team got confidence, man. They got confidence, and they know they still got to work to get there. But I mean, he just speaking on what everybody else is saying. So with Earl Thomas's comments, I don't. Yeah, I mean, they were cool. They were fine, man. I mean, everybody speaks in a different way. Everybody not the same person. Like I talked about when we talked about that in the video. Lamar would take a humble approach to saying it. Earl Thomas, he take a more like straight up approach to saying it, and that's just it's two different personalities. So Earl Thomas, no, I mean. I said in the video too, it's not like this is giving teams like bulletin board material all of a sudden. No, because it's not. If teams ain't have their bulletin board material on the Ravens just having this offense that nobody has been stopping, if teams ain't have bulletin board material with that alone already, then this Earl Thomas comments is not going to make teams work that much harder in order to try to beat the Ravens. And Earl Thomas's comments not going to make the Ravens work that much harder to beat other teams. Ravens already, they want to beat the other teams. The other team's going to want to beat the Ravens. That's just how it is. So with that being said, like Earl Thomas comments, they don't change anything with this season. Just at the end of the season, those comments are going to need to be justified. They are going to need to come to fruition, and they're going to need to be true. And they're going to need to finish this season in Miami with a win, celebrating. Next question came from my boy Nicholas. He said, I enjoy watching all your videos. I appreciate that, man. He said, I had a question I've been thinking about. Do you think guys like Gus Edwards and Justice Hill will play a bigger role towards the end of the season and the playoffs? I feel like Justice Hill has great potential and he could surprise some defenses. And with Edwards being fresh, he could cause some problems as well since Ingram gets the workload. I could see that. I could see that. Justice Hill has slowly been getting a little more here and there, and definitely he did in the Rams game. Rams game was his biggest workload and his best game that he's had as a Raven. But with Gus Edwards, I could see that. Just to he's been getting a good amount of the workload. Of course, Mark Ingram is the guy, and I think he's going to continue to be the guy. But with the Gus Edwards, he helps spell Mark Ingram. He helps give Mark Ingram that rest. But he comes in, and it's not like, okay, Mark Ingram's out, so we can't run anymore. No, Gus Edwards gets his too. He gets his too, and he still strong. Even though he lost that weight, he got a little pep to his step now. But he's it's been good, man. It's been good. And I think that with Justice Hill, if Justice Hill is involved more in the playoffs, that'd be a great thing. Because again, Justice Hill with he's been in the most when the games are out of reach. So if Justice Hill getting carry after carry after carry after carry after carry after carry after carry, that'd be great. But even still, I think they should use him. They should use him still. Throwing some screens to him. I'd say send him out wide, man. Throw a little screen pass to him. Let the receivers and tight ends over on his side block for him upfield. Them toss plays. Just get him involved. Yeah, get him involved a little bit more because you get the right blocks, man. Because Mark Ingram had some good blocks. Gus Edwards had some good blocks. You give Justice Hill the right, and of course those have come with time. They don't just come in the game, okay, boom, all right, block, touchdown, but they come with time. Every running play is not gonna be, all right, I'm taking it the distance. No, it's not. But with it would just take time, and what's the word I'm looking for him to have to do it over and over and over again. I can't think of the word I'm looking for. So it is what it is. But repetitiveness, I guess. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I think things are pretty much stay the same as they are now. And things are already pretty much like this. Well, maybe not a bigger role, but because he said, do you think like guys like Gus Edwards and Justice Hill will play a bigger role? Because Gus Edwards is playing a pretty big role now in that run game. Because yeah, Mark Ingram, they don't have him out there all the time. They have him out there majority, but yeah, Gus's role could grow. Yeah, I can see that. So good questions.
You see my boy, he like gotta made it. Boy, that's my homie, ain't that right engraving?